Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome once more to our weekly update. This is the ninth week in which we're doing this weekly updates. And I think when we had started, we thought it was going to last 3 weeks or maybe 4 weeks and we'll be done with this, but there just seems to be a lot of information. We're going to give this a minute or two before we jump into our agenda for today. So few more people, I see a few more people signing in. So just give it a minute or two and then we'll be right on our way for the conversation this week. Oh, I can't find Blake connected here. Okay, I think that we can proceed with our meeting. Once more, good afternoon, everybody. Again, I really want to always start this meeting by expressing my gratitude to every one of you. I know we meet on these weekly calls, but in between, looking at the faces and the organizations, I know a lot of work that each one of you has been doing to support this effort that is a community effort to help resettle our Afghan allies here in this community. And I know it could be as simple as talking about this from a resettlement perspective, but I think it's much more. And I think about this as much more even now. You know, a few weeks ago, we were talking about this as when we begin to see these arrivals. And in the last week and this week, where we've seen significant uptick in the number of arrivals, I really want to think about this and talk about this from a very different perspective, because this is not just about resettlement. This is about giving people who have found themselves in very, very challenging circumstances, whose lives have been, just transformed suddenly, and find themselves in the United States, and we giving them an opportunity, a new lease on life. But even more importantly for this community is that we can effectively say we have new neighbors now in this community who are going to have their opportunity to play their part in the development of this community. And if we thought that this was a distant phenomenon, it's no longer distant, it's happening, it's here, it's right now. And how we engage, how we welcome, how we act together as a community is really the essence of these weekly calls. And this community, this St. Louis as it is, has been incredibly, incredibly supportive and incredibly helpful. And as we get along working together, I want to really state this to all the partners, all of you, that they're going to be challenging circumstances. We're going to find ways to solve problems that will arise. We'll work together. We share the same goals. And I ask for your patience with our team. I ask for your understanding. I ask for, let's really just focus on the collaboration. Not every delivery is going to be perfect, but with your help, we'll strive for perfection. If there are things that are not going right, help us make it right. Share your ideas, share your thoughts. We're really open to any ideas. We're looking at this and we've been trying to find out whether there has been any circumstance where we've received this number of people in 1 week or in 1 day, and our records don't show. So this is a historic moment for not only the International Institute, but for St. Louis, that we're having this number of people coming to the community. Because it is historic, we're bound to make mistakes. But even as we strive to provide the best quality service, again, I ask for your help, ask for your patience, and ask for your understanding. This week, where we would continue in the logic of how we've been trying to share with you all really what goes into this resettlement process. That besides the welcome, which we're in the thick and thin of now, with all our teams running to the airport, your support, we're helping set up some of these homes. With your support, we have the material that is necessary to put in these homes. With your support, we're giving them gift cards and the clothing that is necessary for them. What next after arrival? And so we've spoken to you all about education. We've spoken to you all. We started with resettlement, and we went into education, and we went into healthcare and workforce. And today we're going to talk about a little bit about what happens in terms of economic development, and we'll have somebody on our team share about that, just so that you all can be thinking logically about where you can be of support in this process. But before we get to that, we're going to give you the weekly update so you get a picture of what the numbers look like, what are some of the things that we're doing, how we're winning or losing, what are those challenges where we're losing, how we can lean on each other to help. And then after that, obviously, we'll have question and answers. But I cannot turn this over to Blake again without really overemphasizing thank you. And I don't want to call names, but I'm looking at all of you, your names, and I know that each one of you has played an incredible part in this journey. But thank you for being here, even more importantly. I'll turn this over to Blake. And Blake, for the weekly update, please.
Thank you. As Ray said, it really has been a historic week for us. We have seen 2 weeks of very high arrivals here, and it seems as if this is a situation that will stay pretty consistent for us in terms of the volume of arrivals for the next several weeks. Today, we'll go through our update, and as Ray mentioned, we'll head to our economic development conversation as led by Nadia Khanem, who's on the call with us today, before opening up to Q&A. But for this week's update, first wanted to start off with an arrival update. So last week, as we came to a close, we actually had 61 arrivals over 12 cases. So that's putting us on track for an average of about 5 individuals per case. On Fridays, it seems we're getting notifications about the arrivals for the upcoming week. Whether or not we have travel information is another story. And so last Friday, we were notified that we were going to have 104 arrivals, but at the time of this meeting, we have 123 now scheduled. I just want to point out here that we notified our parent organization, USCRI, that our capacity locally would be to resettle 50 per week. So being at 61 1 week and 123 the next, we are significantly over capacity, which has real and immediate challenges for us when it comes to housing, both temporary and long-term. While we felt we had secured enough housing to maintain that upper echelon of our per week limit, now that we've surpassed it so significantly over these combined 2 weeks, we are once again operating very quickly here at a deficit when it comes to housing upon arrival. And we'll get into that again in a moment. But one thing I did want to mention, as of yesterday at 11 o'clock, 47 of the 123 arrivals scheduled for the week did not have any travel information for us. So those are folks that will be coming in at any point between now and through the end of Sunday. We just have no information about when. So that makes yesterday was a very historic day for us in the sense that we had 39 individuals arrive. You may have seen the article in the Post-Dispatch this morning and on the Post online with the family of 9 that arrived at the airport where we were there to meet these folks. Those 9 were 9 of 39, which as far as we can tell is the most number of arrivals we received on a single day in the history of the agency. The previous high for arrivals in a week was in 2005, where we had 99 arrivals in a week. So we are absolutely setting records here on a daily and weekly basis with these number of arrivals. And again, that underscores the comment Ray made that this is absolutely historic for our region and requires heroic efforts on everybody's part in order to be able to navigate this and provide appropriate supports in the timely way needed to welcome these folks to our community. So touching back on the housing challenges that the volume presents, we have partnered with area hotels that have generously donated rooms to us at no cost and at reduced rates, vastly reduced rates for our clients. However, again, due to the pace of arrivals, we are quickly overstressing those resources. And fundamentally, hotels are having a challenge in terms of being able to keep those rooms available for our clients through weekend hours. So we are able actually this week for all of our clients who are in hotels as of right now, they will all be moved into permanent housing by the end of this week. Our housing staff have done an amazing job to secure this. Though we were able to do it this week, given the volume of arrivals that we have coming this week, it will be very hard for us to be able to maintain that promise to our hotel partners who have asked that we vacate those rooms ahead of the weekend next weekend. So Thanksgiving week will be a very busy one for us as we source housing as well as handle new arrivals who will never be coming next week as well. Again, we're getting these updates on Friday, but as we get the updated numbers for who's coming, we functionally are only getting, the first 3 days of the week that we're getting any firm travel information. And so we're now midway through the week and 47 of the 123 arrivals still have no travel info. So we are moving very, very quickly to deploy resources once we know people are coming. However, we cannot wait for people to arrive in order to be able to initiate any of this. So any help that our community partners can provide in sourcing housing or making arrangements for temporary housing, if not permanent housing, is very, very much welcome at this point. And as always, the need for us is with these 3 and 4 bedroom apartments, as we've seen the stock that we knew was available rapidly depleted given the size of the cases that have been arriving. We had cases of 11, multiple cases of 9. Today we have a case of 7 and 6 arriving. So we are seeing these larger cases at this point. In terms of our needs, how can we leverage community support to be able to welcome folks? And we're not talking dollars per se; those are always needed. But at this point, we need hands, we need bodies. We need people who can step up and provide some of the support that's needed to move people into permanent housing. So in that regard, we do have housing setups and those time slots are available. We are now just taking regular volunteers to assist with setting up housing, morning and afternoon slots. And I believe that is now available for sign up through our website. We are planning on, we are offering morning and afternoon housing setups 5 days a week. Though there might be need to add some additional volunteer slots over the weekend as we work through the weekend to resettle clients who are coming on Saturdays and Sundays at this point. And another thing to point out here is, we set our cap at 50. We said that we could resettle 6 days a week and we'd love a day of reprieve. And we've not seen either of those requests honored to this point. So we're functionally resettling 7 days a week and at 120% over our capacity. So the other opportunities that we have available, which I'm being told will soon be available, are Also available through our website, volunteer opportunities through the building, working one-on-one with clients. These volunteer opportunities do require a background check and that process to be completed. We are opening up more positions to help support managing paperwork and documents that are coming in with our clients is varied. And so what we are seeking is a scanning volunteer who can help us scan the appropriate documents and put those in our client database so that we can ensure clients are connected to the right program in the right manner with the right documentation. We have any number of other volunteer opportunities that are popping up almost on a daily basis now on our website. So I would encourage everybody to stay connected through there around individual volunteer opportunities. The housing setups are a great opportunity for groups. I think we have up to 5 slots for morning and afternoon that groups can sign up for. And so I encourage anybody who's willing or able to share that information to do so. Continuing with our agency needs, we do have our job openings currently available on our website. We have 9 opening positions, or nine positions open at present. Though several of those are actually hiring for multiple positions, including intake and assessment, as well as our benefit specialist positions. Anything that we can do to help promote, and we've seen you all do an excellent job of promoting these opportunities. Once after these meetings, we see on Thursdays in particular, our page views and our applications submitted always see a spike on Thursdays. And I have no doubt that that's due to this group helpfully broadcasting those opportunities within their networks and driving traffic to those opportunities. So thank you for your continued support, and thank you for continuing to do that. Additionally, I want to highlight our community support program, which I mentioned last week, held its first training the week prior for the new groups of volunteers that will be supporting these clients. And I just want to make mention that we'll be expanding this program to have more capacity to support groups that are interested in providing support to new arrivals. Community supporters are also available to help us with airport pickups, which is something that we very much need that assistance with right now. We need vetted volunteers to be able to do that. Community supporters are providing sort of community orientation, transportation assistance to our new arrivals. And again, we'll be having another orientation session for community support groups coming up in early and mid-December. Once we have those dates available, of course, we'll be broadcasting that to everybody on this call. If you would like more information specifically about that program, you can reach out to Wafa Osman, and I've included her email here. And though we've gotten support from any number of partners, I want to particularly shout out a few of the partners that have stepped up over the last couple of weeks here, including Oasis International, Bridge Church, Welcome Neighbor, St. Louis Laborers Union Local 110, Wells Fargo, PNC, Schnucks, the Pershing Charitable Trust, and all of the volunteers that have engaged over the last several weeks. These organizations and individuals have helped in a variety of ways, including sourcing transportation, furniture assistance, helping us with housing setups, utilizing their own organizational resources in the form of vans, trucks to provide transportation to our clients, to to help with our housing setups, as well as donations. Local Laborers Union 110 made a very generous donation of food gift cards that are available now to our Afghan parolee arrivals. Wells Fargo and PNC recently awarded us grants, specifically actually reaching out to our Economic Development Department to help us with lending and small business technical assistance to our clients who are taking advantage of services in that program. And the Pershing Charitable Trust made a very generous donation to us, which is really helping us ramp up our physical capacity and our staffing capacity to help support these new arrivals. And of course, our volunteers. I always say in good times and bad, we couldn't do half of what we did if it wasn't for the volunteers that build our capacity as an organization. And so I want to again shout out all the volunteer groups, and I know Fred and others are on the call who help coordinate mass groups of volunteers that have come in to assist us over the last several weeks. And thank you times 1 million. We are so appreciative of all the support that our volunteers have provided, and thank you so much for being there and stepping up to support our allies. And so with that, I do want to turn it over to Nadia Khanem, our Director of Economic Development here at the International Institute, to tell you a little bit more about those programs. And again, once again, I'd be happy to answer any questions or respond to any comments around our presentation once Nadia is complete here. So Nadia, I'll turn it over to you now.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I will thank you all for attending this weekly meeting. Thanks for your support to IISTL and New American. Let's learn today about IICDC and what kind of services we provide for New American. Next slide, please. IICDC stands for International Institute Community Development Corporation. In 2007, IISTL decided to operate economic development because IISTL believe immigrants positively affect the business community and the US economy. Immigrants create demand for small businesses and strengthen the economy. Some of the most influential entrepreneurs in the United States are immigrants or children of immigrants. Immigrants' contribution in big businesses and small business. Center of American Progress research and study show that immigrants make up about 28% of a small business owner and 2 times more likely to become entrepreneurs than the native-born population. IICDC, International Institute Community Development Corporation, certified CDFI certified Community Development Financial Institution of the U.S. Department of Treasury. Next slide, please. The lending and programs that we have at IICDC. IICDC provide business loan for startup, strength, and expand business. The loan amount starts from $500 and it goes up to $50,000. IICDC offer free riba loan, 0 interest available loan. Riba mean interest. Some religions believe the word stand for interest, is prohibited in the religion. We want to give them the opportunity, so we provided this loan for them. The repayment for the business loans starts from 6 months, goes up to 5 years. Who's qualified for the business loan? Any foreign born. Even if they become naturalized citizen, they still qualify. As we all know, some of them, they're not bankable to get a business loan for a startup business. We really want to give them the opportunity to start their business. The lending process goes in 2 stages. The first stage is the pre-approval. We do orientation with the client and read their eligibility. We do credit and DTI, debit to income ratio check. If they're not ready, we'll refer them to the credit building program that I'll be talking about later in this presentation. We do business plan assistance and financial statement, cash flow management assistance. We assist with the legal documents needed to start a business by connecting client to specialized organization that we are partnered with. Other services as a startup business needed, we provide it to them too. The other stage after they open their business, the post-loan assistance, we do loan repayment on relationship systems, back office work like legal and payroll, bookkeeping and accounting work. We do business management training, sales and marketing support, business tax for micro business, both sale tax for retails for state, profit or loss, Schedule C for federal. The other program that we have, and you see in here, is Credit Builder Loan. We call it CPL. We offering this to empower our clients to establish new good credit that improve their credit history and credit score. The loan amount is $750. Repayment period is 12 months. 1 to 3 hours of credit building training counseling included. This will help immigrants and refugees access one of the eligibility for home ownership. Of course, more detail will be provided for them when they attain the first home buyer class. It's an easy process with positive effect with 6 months. We do soft check credit pool pre and post CPL. So we can compare the credit score before and after. The other product that we have is called Citizenship Loan. It's financial support to apply for immigration services, including but not limited to work authorization card, permanent resident card, naturalization, and family reunification. The loan allowance, it goes up to $3,000 for family. Repayment period, 24 months. Also, we provide financial literacy classes, free online classes for those who want to start their business or learn more about how to manage their existing business. And grow with technology and marketing, include but not limited to first home buyer education class. Classes are scheduled now from November to March. All classes posted on IICDC Facebook page. So if you have any client you'd like to register, they can go on our Facebook page and register for it. Interpretation provided for one-on-one class if needed. The other program that we have, asset program. Participant save toward a goal and get matched on every dollar to put toward a utility bill, purchase an asset, car, post secondary education, or go to driving school. The saving goal is 100. Match rate is 3 to 1. Free financial education included, as well as one-on-one financial coaching. The other services that we have in here is the free tax filing assistance. It's hosted by AARP. It's in the IISTL here in our location during tax season only and open to low-income families in the community. So it's not only for on board, it's open for everyone in the community. Tax services for personal income tax filing, federal and state. They do standard deduction and itemized deduction and Schedule C filing as well. Next slide, please. Here we have the portfolio by business type. As you see, big percentage of our clients do transportation, taxi, Uber, Lyft, and others. Also, the food industry services in here has a big percentage as well, like fast food, restaurants, catering, and food trucks. Next slide, please. This pie shows our portfolio percentage by country of origin. As you see in here, we have a big percentage of business owners from Iraq, Ethiopia, and other nationality as well. Next. Economic impact for the last 5 years, from 2015 to 2020, we had 273 loans. Investment, 1.9 million dispersed. Return on investment, 72 million in economic contribution. This is all the information that I have for you so far. Thanks again for your time. If you have any question, please let me know.
Thank you very much, Nadia, for that that information. This clearly demonstrates where I was going to with my conversation, that this is more than just resettlement. This is setting up our new neighbors for success in this community and for success for the community as well. So we're taking them on a journey, and hopefully, obviously, we're going along on that journey with you all. But we thought that it was really important for us to help paint that picture of that journey, and we've done so in the last 5 weeks. With that, I would like to open up for questions, and those questions could either be for the economic development update that has just been given, or the weekly update. But we would like to allow the space here for us to have a conversation with you all, with reference to the arrivals, with reference to what you're hearing or reading in the news, with reference to what you've heard from the presentation that Blake made. Any questions from anyone in the audience? Hearing, at this point, I don't hear any or see any indication for any questions in that regard. I see a question now. First of all, I see a question which says, what percentage of arrivals do you anticipate would be college age? I think we have a fair percentage. We had projected a number, and Blake, I haven't checked to see whether it had changed, but I know we were seeing almost about 60% being below the age of 18. Blake, is there an update here that?
No, I mean that's kind of held true. You know, we see about more than 50% being under the age of 18. So if you consider anybody 18 and over to be in that group, you know, that would still be about 50% of all of our arrivals. And of course, if we go about to the end of this week, that's more than of 180 arrivals. That's about 90 college age eligible folks that are arriving. We are seeing a very small number of elderly folks or anybody over the age of 65 as we categorize it. So we don't have, you know, this is definitely a younger population overall that we're seeing relative to other recent resettlement groups that we've seen. So I do think that amongst this group, whether they are youth who are looking to go to college or adults looking for a college degree, I think we will actually have quite a higher percentage of folks who are interested in and eligible for university.
Okay, thank you very much. I see a question from Madeline, which is in reference to mattresses offered by, whether the mattresses offered by the International Institute can be thicker and more comfortable. That's something that I would like to look into. Somebody brought this to my attention yesterday, and I'm going to look into that.
Well, in part, this is due. We received a very generous donation of mattresses from an organization, and we of course accepted the donation. However, we do know that quality there is not what really is up to standard. However, we are seeking additional donations for mattresses to be included in setups. Part of this is, when we do these donation appeals, we always want to make sure that we're getting high quality items that can be provided. And so that's something that we constantly want to reiterate when we're very much accept and welcome the drives and the community support. However, we want to create a standard that we don't want people donating things that they wouldn't give to their own family members. That's functionally the golden rule for us in terms of collecting donations. And as a reminder, mattresses must be brand new and cannot be donated. as well. But that's certainly something, as Ray said, that we're looking into sourcing. If we do need to make purchases, of course, for those mattresses, we're willing to do that. However, we want to give this feedback to our donor so that they understand the challenges that we're seeing in getting these out.
Thank you for bringing that up. That again, that's something that we're looking into since it got to our attention yesterday. I have another question. It's, how can families receive more food cards when they run out? Like, you want to take that?
Oh, sure. So when families are receiving their initial food cards upon arrival, they're receiving, again, $50 per person. But that isn't just a one-time donation. That people who that would be available to folks multiple times. The goal would be to get folks enrolled into programming that has more long-term food supports. And in the interim, we can continue to provide food cards to folks as they run out, but they really need to be engaged in service in order to keep doing that. We don't want to just keep giving food cards. We want to enroll people in programs that have more access to food stability and can get them enrolled into publicly available food stamps and other supportive services around that. So the key would be making sure that folks are arriving to enroll in programs so that they can access those more long-term food supports.
Thank you. And a question from Beverly Wilkes. No. Anticipated average family size of new arrivals. The average size is about 5. What we had projected maybe for the last month. We don't know whether that's going to change because we can only give you that based on the statistics that we have now. But even though we say 5, of course, we're seeing also large families come through, and those ones are the ones that are a lot more challenging with the housing situation.
Hi, Ari and Blake. I wanted to ask about the hotel partners that you already have. Are you able to share more about who those are so we can think about potentially filling in some additional gaps there, or can you share that information?
Sarah, I shared that information with Will Pinkney from the office. It isn't something we want to broadcast necessarily. There's many reasons for that, but we do want to be able to expand the list of partners. Right now, we do only have 2 hotel partners who've offered donated rooms, but I did provide that information for Will in order to help guide sort of efforts in recruiting more hotels that might be able to provide free or reduced rate housing on very short notice. We are, when approaching any organization, anybody else who would be comfortable approaching hotels or any other group around short-term or temporary housing, our goal is to not utilize that housing for more than a week. We want to make sure that we're turning this around. And so we do need to expand our capacity when it comes to temporary housing in order to make sure that everybody who's arriving has a soft landing in lieu of being able to source more permanent housing options prior to arrival. So the goal is to get everybody in there, everybody who does find themselves into this temporary housing, into permanent housing within 1 week.
Yeah. A few questions have come up. One from Art Buckman. Do we have enough food cards or are more required? Never enough food cards, more required. We are truly grateful. We've seen significant, but I think we will require more, especially as we approach the winter months. Even more importantly, with the pricing, but the prices increasing with inflation being what it is, and seeing what a gallon of milk now costs, and there's definitely going to be need for more gift cards, particularly food. Then we also have another question.
Just to add a little color to that response, we received about, and this is, I think, going back a week, so it's not entirely accurate, but I believe we received around $60,000 in gift cards To date, more than 23,000 of that has gone out. And so, with new arrivals increasing, this isn't accounting for anybody who arrived this week, needing those food cards additionally. So, we are going to see a large amount of these cards going out, and we of course want to make sure that we are continually having stock in order to be able to freely give to those in need.
Yeah, and it's also noteworthy that, not only arrivals, not only those who are arriving, but we also have some other refugees that are not Afghans that are also in need. And so there's always going to be a need for more. Madeleine has a question about what is the cap for monthly rent for 3 bedrooms. I know we have an average of what these rates look like. Blake, is that something that you want to address?
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up our chart here. Generally, we have a we don't necessarily have a cap, I would say, but the real goal is to be able to put folks in the housing that can be sustained off of the amount of income that will be coming into the family. And so if we assume our job placements are around $13 an hour. And so based off of that rate, would a family, depending if they have 1 or 2 folks going to work in the household, would they be able to support rent based off of that? It's not a complex formula here in terms of how we formulate that, but we are factoring in, of course, that we would be able to provide rental assistance for several months after arrival. In fact, in some situations, up to 6 months or even more. But the fact of the matter is, even once that rental assistance ends, there will need to be the family will need to fill the gap there. I'm going to look for our chart as we kind of go through this and maybe share that number with you, that we sort of have an estimate of a generalized number for those size apartments.
Thank you, Blake. With winter coming, where are we with winter clothing for new arrivals? It's Kelly, I think I spoke about this with you, Kelly. Yes, Kelly.
Yeah, I can't see myself. So
now you can.
We are looking for winter coats, especially. We still have a room. We still have an overflow of donations from the last year that we need to sort out. So we're not necessarily accepting clothing right now, but we are accepting winter coats.
Winter coats.
All sizes, children, adults, women, men and women. So winter coats would be acceptable.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Winter coats will be what we're going to need for the winter months, and I know that we're also assessing as we're seeing the arrivals come. We're assessing what could be some specific needs that we may, because we're still going through all of the stuff that was donated, and that's going out fast as well. But we're constantly assessing where the gaps are, if any, and we will be sharing as those gaps arise. Obviously, we're thinking about the winter months, and I know we did speak yesterday about the need for coats, and maybe eventually heating is obviously going to eventually be a challenge here. We're seeing the cost of heating going up significantly. So that may be something that we think of, or even how we keep the homes in which our new arrivals are going to be living in warm through that period. And we've not specifically identified what is going to be needed to fill that gap. But once we have a clear understanding of that, I will be happy to share. But just have in mind that heating is something that we are considering and thinking about.
And while we assist our clients with live heap applications, low-income heating and energy assistance program. We do know that these costs are rising, and these are gaps that we hope to fill with some of the donated funds that we've received to be able to provide a little bit more cash assistance to help ends meet when it comes to those heating and energy bills. Madeline, when it comes to our 3-bedroom apartments, we are really looking for rent around $1,100 a month. That is functionally a good place when it comes to the projected income for folks who would be occupying those households. I did see a question from Al, with whom should be in touch regarding airport pickups. Again, airport pickups for us, we are requiring background checks and orientation for folks to do that work. So that if any organization is interested in providing some assistance on particular aspects of the resettlement process, we'd be happy to talk about how we might arrange for a more formalized agreement under a memorandum of understanding where our organizations could partner around that support. But because this is direct contact with clients, we are asking that everybody who has that go through an extensive background check, which again, we can talk about the process for getting your volunteers who'd be interested in providing that support connected to our screening process and enrolled as volunteers in order to be able to do that.
Yeah, there is, thanks Blake for that. There is a question from Stan. Whom should we be in contact with for winter coats and space heaters? I'm not sure about the space heaters yet. We really need to look into that to figure out what so it may be that we have to identify the specific space heater and then buy one specific one, because we may have to train the residents on how to use that the specific space heaters. So we're trying to figure out what will work best. So yeah, but I think the best person to contact at this time will be Kelly, right? Kelly for those winter coats and space heaters. And Kelly, if you don't mind dropping your email in the chat, that will be helpful. Am I missing any questions? Please, if the chat has been moving fast, so if I skip the question that you asked, now I see that there have been this question of, people want to meet with some of the Afghans, people want to engage them, and people want to make them feel like we're here, this is home, we're welcoming them. This is something that we there's that desire to be done. And, we also want that to happen. The first thing I would say about that is that, and I'm talking to you all, really, I really want to be transparent about this, is one, whilst all of us around here are excited and happy that we have these new arrivals, this may not be the same for the entire community, right? This is the reason why we have elected not to say which hotels we have these families. We're just being prudent. And this is a conversation that we've had even with security personnel in the city. So bear with us that we will try as much as possible not to draw attention to where the concentration is taking place. And I hope that that's something that we can all understand. We will look for opportunities in which